Hello, hello. How's everybody doing out there? Peasant chat, peasant chat. We talk to poor people every Sunday, 9:30 a.m. Cold as fuck out there. Even in Florida, believe it or not. Now, this is the funny thing. A lot of you guys are like, it snowed in Florida. No, it didn't. It snowed in South Georgia. Anything above Port St. Lucie is not Florida, in my opinion, and the West Coast can literally suck a dick because it's not Florida. As long as it doesn't rain in South Florida, aka the real Florida, that's all I care about. So today we're going to talk about is you can still be a fan of a team and criticize them. How many of you are football fans, basketball fans? Well, not many of you are basketball fans based on based on the comments. Not many of you are basketball fans, baseball fans, hockey fans. Every time your team does well, you cheer for them. And when your team makes a move that makes you question why they're doing that, you are allowed to criticize them. How many times have you been to a baseball game, a basketball game, football or hockey game where the fans boo the home team because they're not doing well? Well, apparently I got a lot of people in my comment section mad that I made fun of the fact that the Darkhorse with a Whipple barely beat a stock M4. The M4 beat the ever-living shit out of it in the quarter mile, and only in the braking and the turning and the roll did the Mustang actually win. And then I made the comparison that it is a Darkhorse, fully loaded Darkhorses. Google it, guys. They're $90,000. Premium with all the options is $80,000 to $90,000 at a Whipple on top of it with a stage 2 package, and that is easily $100,000+ car. So the comparison that U-Turns made against the M4 and the Darkhorse was actually pretty accurate, and a lot of you guys are mad. They're like, why don't you just become a Chevy guy all of a sudden? You are allowed to like a product or like a team and criticize their moves. Now they're talking to China about their EV stuff. You need to understand, guys, just because we live in the Ford space does not mean everything they do is a positive. And you must be a psycho to look at someone make bad moves that you perceive to be as bad moves and still cheer for them. That is psychotic. I've been ringing the alarm for a long time that Ford is just going down the wrong path. And I think it has everything to do with the Ford CEO. Now they're talking to China. Now they're saying things like, if we don't partner with China, there will be no Ford. I'm okay with that. Alex, what about your job? I'll survive. I'll be fine. I don't need, guys, a lot of you guys think if tuning goes away that I'm homeless and destitute. No, if anything, I'd make more money doing this. So you guys need to understand that tuning isn't the end all be all for me personally. It's just the last thing. It's just the thing I've done for the last 10 years. But I'm 48. What do you think I did up until the age of 38? You think I just didn't have a job, didn't have a life, didn't own 2 homes? Pretty crazy stuff out there that the fans are losing their mind with because I'm giving proper criticism to Ford. We'll talk about that and many more things, but not before Mr. Bill O'Reilly tells us to do it live.
Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks!
It sucks. The sponsors don't suck though. Hell, they all paid. Love getting paid. DNAP Performance, DNAPperformance.com. That's right, the Go Fast new parts house of sponsor of the show. Keeping it going for January. Get your fuel systems, injectors, wheels, tires, everything brand new at DNAPperformance.com. Thanks for paying your bill. You're on the board still for this year. Belgian wheels, they're also back on board this year. Their lightweight series wheels are on what's on section 8, doing extremely well. I love some of their F-150 wheels. Check out Belgian wheels and especially their lightweight series. Scott Belgian and Belgian wheels, BelgianWheels.com. PMAS, Nick James. He ended up getting with me about potentially doing some kind of kit, potentially for the F-150, 24 and up, or even 15 and up, do-it-yourself blower kit for Magnuson stuff. So check out Nick James and PMAS for the best colder intake, the best MAF sensors, and the DIY kits are a rave. Don't make out cookies, Don'tMakeOutCookies.com. You're going to buy your cookies there. You're going to get diabetes there. You're going to buy cookies. Look, they're big, they're fat. Don't think that they're small. Don't buy 10 of them. You'll never eat them. There's just too much fucking cookie, and maybe you get to smell Melissa's lotion. Don'tMakeOutCookies.com, Parthome.com. They got a GT500 coming, so if you need 13 to 14 GT500 parts, motor, trunk lid, I think Bryson got the trunk lid, wheels, tires, the valance and the tips, the exhaust, Check him out, parttime.com. Total Solution, Rami's down on Total Solution. He was at the track the other day. He's going to try to go 9s in his 25 F-150 with a Magnus supercharger. I think he can do it no problem, man. Belak Industries, Belak Industries. That's right, Belak Industries. You know the nice thing about Belak Industries is he doesn't care if people copy them, and I'm kind of blown away by that. He's just not threatened by, he's like, let them copy me, I don't give a shit. And I'm like, wow, not I don't give a shit. It's more like to make fun. And the funny thing is, right, you see the people that copy his wheels, like literally rip off the design and everything, just put a different name on it. You just go, yeah, I don't want to fuck with them. I just don't want to fuck with people that do that stuff. Alibaba wheels and all that shit. I think it's super goofy. We're going to go to richprince.com/YDBT if you want to get yourself some merchandise and represent the show. You got YDBT and Amory hats, YDBT and Amory trucker style hats, Dolo, Shiesties, Section 8 shirts and hoodies, Hush Money shirts and hoodies, ZR50 shirts and hoodies, Booty Juice, I love the juice shirts and hoodies, Amory Stolen Valor. I wear this all the time and I get complimented for serving. I go, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, JT350, S650, 85 to 86, 87 to 93, 1320 Didios, F1320, YDBT and Amory, and all the good stuff if you want to represent the show. And have some stickers to show your love for the show, myself, because let's be honest, the show is me. I am the show. I am the product. So if you support me and fuck with me heavy and you think I've tried to do my best to steer you in the right direction, you know, give a brother a follow, or maybe Rich Prince purchase or become a Patreon sub. We got a guy that listened to me on the Street Alpha podcast. Guy's name's Max Anthony. He bought a Gen 2 F-150. He heard me say the following. And how many of you heard me say this and thought I was crazy? If you want to really get after it with an RCSB, you get a Gen 2. Oh, you're fucking stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh, this guy now has 20 plus runs on his F-150 at like over 20 PSI. Transmission's fine, motor's fine, 114,000 miles. Your 10R80 would have been complaining and puking its guts out after run number 4 at 20 PSI. Bet me on that shit before you start building and spending $8,000 twice a year to rebuild your 10R80s. Pretty funny, but hey, what the fuck do I know? Reflex, Nick Notch, Nardi Mercado, B. Lavesh, Nardi Mercado. My condolences. I heard you lost your puppy. That's never good. It's never a good feeling when you lose a pup that's been around for 15 years. So my condolences to you. At least you didn't run it over. B. Lavesh, Frank Donahue, Monty Van 40, Nathan Roberts, Bryson Witt, TJ Skorsky, Z33, Camzilla, J Swiss, Craig Walls, Billy Noonan. Craig, I got to talk to you. Like, we got to have a phone call because I have so many questions about big block stuff. Because I'm new to it, I'm trying to get as much information in here as possible before I make that leap into the Fairmont. Lamine, Coyote, Kelly, Ricky Wheaton, Clint Stroke, D-Rock Fox, Cobra, 460, Robostyle, EP, Amory, Ken McAllister, amongst those semi-retired street racer, Southern Indiana, 1320, Christopher Dixon, Southern Indiana again, Paul, Garage Bill Coyote, must be freezing in Texas. Douche Did Mark Christensen, John Bonanno, South Detroit, Joseph Lacey, Peter Chow, South Detroit, Anthony Rafferty, Ed RCSB, It's Just a Spick, Five of Stewie, Richie Rich, Adrian, Phone Pole Kyle. You know, a lot of people got mad at me that I mentioned that he smashed. He was involved in a racing accident. I'm like, wait a minute. You're mad that I'm mentioning it, but you're not mad when you saw him and his team covering it every single race? You guys must have your priorities super fucked up. You guys must be... Look, I contend that most people are retarded, and I'm just talking to retarded people generally. There's probably a solid, I want to say 1,000 of you, right? The other 76,000 are, you know, trying to steal tunes and you know, trying to run a business off of scraps from the big business. And I'm just like, okay, well, if you don't see it how I see it, then how do you view the world? Like, how do you view the world? I don't understand this. I love how people say, fuck ICE. And then what would happen if someone enters your home and just puts their feet up on the couch and says, feed me? Fuck you. Would you be like, it's all good, bro? And I'm like, how do you view the world? I don't understand how you view the world. Matt Francis, Jared Wells, Zion Savior, Jared Wells, Redneck, Destroyer, Redbird, Anthony. Hey, Matt Francis, you have a newer GT500, right? Like a 14. Does it have like a big coal there, like a JLT 148 or a 123? Let me know. Phone poll call again, Ken McAllister, Garage Bill, and It's Just a Pick. All right, so have you guys ever cheered for a team? Have you guys ever cheered for a team? like anything. I'm a Red Sox fan, right? And when I saw Pedro Martinez get left in that playoff game, I think it was Brady. What was coach's? Brady, Red Sox coach. Let's see. Grady Little. Sorry. Grady Little was the Red Sox coach, and he left Pedro. Is it Grady Little? Grady Little. Yeah, he was the Red Sox coach, and he left Pedro Martinez in after like 97 pitches, and they lost the game. Matt Francis, 123, I think. Okay, so I have a 149 PMAS that I'm probably never going to use, a rear feed. Or, I'm sorry, I have either a 148 from Collier or the 149 that I'm never going to use. I'll probably, if you want the 148, I can give you the 148 from Collier, and I'll just tune Collier for the 149 PMAS just to get JLT products off of my fucking car. So let me know, hit me up in an email, we'll talk about it, because I'm trying to do giveaways on Patreon specifically, and he is on Patreon. So there is a PMAS cold air I got to give away. I might hook you up with a bigger cold air for your car if you want it, and then we still have UPR catch cats to give away only on Patreon. Become a sub there. Tons of shit there. So he left Pedro Martinez in, and they lost the game. I booed. I thought you were stupid. Holy shit. What the fuck? Right? That doesn't mean I'm not a real fan. That doesn't mean that you stopped being a fan when you all of a sudden criticize some of the stuff that people do. You're like, okay. So when Ford starts making real dumb moves, I criticize them, right? Like, it's a dumb move to make a basic GT, an S550 copy, heavier, right? It's a bad move to make it slightly heavier. A lot of you guys that are coping, that bought the S650, swear to God it's faster than a Gen 3 while never owning a Gen 3. So I'm like, how do you make that comparison? I owned a Gen 3. The Lunds currently own a Gen 3. We can actually make a apples to apples comparison, dyno stuff, and to say this is basically a slightly heavier Gen 3. But you guys, for whatever reason, not you guys, but you know, the people that criticize the show specifically, they get mad that I'm not on the team 100%. I'm not a nut rider. I'm going to criticize Ford. The fact that they went all in on Chinese battery bullshit during the Biden administration tells me that they do whatever the fuck the administration says. And now they're talking to China. Ford held talks with China's Xiaomi over EV partnership. Do you really want to be a fan of a company that, like, a lot of you guys make fun of the China transmission, the MT82. How many of you just go out there and start talking all this shit about the China transmission? So the last couple of shorts that I uploaded was from last show, and I showcased the Darkhorse with a Whipple. So an aftermarket vehicle. It is not stock anymore. It does not represent Ford anymore. You might as well have put a Fox body with a Coyote swap and you know, a 10R80 to compare it against the M4. It was such a stupid comparison, but it's a proper comparison when it comes to pricing, because a fully loaded Darkhorse is in the $80,000 to $90,000 range. The M4 is in the over $100,000 range, but the fully loaded Darkhorse with a Whipple, okay, is probably close to $100,000. So it is a proper comparison. Now, while the Darkhorse Supercharged did beat the BMW in braking and roll from a dig, it got its ass destroyed. It got hogged out. It got diddied out. So I started mentioning that. And then when you look at the internal camera shake, when they both hit the brake, I made fun of it. So a lot of the Ford guys that were offended were like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Why are you making fun of Ford all the time? This is all we got. No, shut the fuck up. You don't understand. They're resting on their laurels. They're not developing anything badass. They're not going to make a Corvette competitor because they literally think the Mustang is the Corvette competitor from Jim Farley's mouth. A lot of you guys saw that video that we covered where Chris mentioned to Jim, hey, when is Ford going to make a Corvette production Corvette competitor? He worded it properly. Is Ford looking to make a production Corvette competitor? And Jim Farley was like, what? You don't think and he said GTD, which really fucked him up, because he goes, you don't think the GTD is a competitor to the Corvette? Which Corvette? maybe the Z06, the NA one. But which Corvette are we talking about, Jim? Are we talking about the ZR1 or ZR1X? No. The GTD is not a competitor to it. It gets beat and it's more expensive. The Z06, it's NA. And it's $200,000 more dollars. So then that begs the question, does Jim Farley view Mustang as Corvette competitors? Well, if that's the case, the Stingray beats the shit out of any GT. The base C8 kills any GT in every performance metric. And then the GT Premium is what? The Stingray. And then which one competes with the Z06? Which Mustang product competes with the Z06? Which Mustang product competes with the E-Ray, the best one, in my opinion? Which Mustang product competes? The GTD doesn't. So no. So I think he got himself in trouble there, and I highlighted that, and people were like in the comment section is just full of absolute retards. They're like, oh, it doesn't compete. It's $100,000. A base C8 is about the same price as a fully loaded GT. A up badged or a premium non-Z06, non-E-Ray is about the same price as a Darkhorse. So I don't understand why you think that there is a competitor to Mustang. And according to Jim Farley, it's the Corvette. So that's why I started saying, okay, well, if that's the case, when are we going to make products that actually compete against the Corvette? And then you guys waited all this time, and now they're giving you a Darkhorse SC. The Darkhorse SC, who's it going to piss off? The GTD owner. Now, the GTD is always going to be worth big money because of the low production run. But let's just talk about performance. The Darkhorse SC can perform as good as the GTD in the only thing that matters in the United States, a straight line. Now, if you're going to ship your car to Germany and go to the Nürburgring or go to VIR or go to Laguna Seca or go to any of these road courses, absolutely the GTD is going to absolutely stomp the SC. But what Ford has made is a competitor to its own car. And unknowingly or knowingly gave people a GTD Lite. Here's a GTD Lite for those of you that can't afford a GTD. Well, now, if you're a GTD owner and you're driving down 95 and a Darkhorse SC owner or GT500 2020 and up pulls up next to you, it's not a given you're going to beat it. Matter of fact, you can make the case that the Darkhorse SC is lighter and potentially can perform better than a GTD in a straight line. It doesn't have all the dumb aero to contend with. It's lighter, and it's a roll race monster. So the GTD owner is probably, depending on, let's say what kind of pull does a GTD owner have? So imagine you go to a Jim Farley race or something. Let's say you get an invite and you're a GTD guy and you get an invite and you talk to Jim Farley and you're all of a sudden going to go, oh, check this out. Why did you make a GTD competitor in the Darkhorse SC? You have devalued my car. It was $500,000. Now that the SC is going to come out, people are going to go, wait a minute, similar design, same powertrain, not the transaxle, but we're kind of GTD Light, GTD Junior. So why did you do that? So that's a bad move, in my opinion. But a lot of you guys in the comments, not you guys are loyal. A lot of you guys tend to not think before you say shit, because you don't understand what the fuck I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to put their feet to the fire to at least say someone's got to give them some pressure. Because if Jim Farley felt pressured by a simple guy as Chris Cervenka by asking him a simple question, hey, when are we going to make a competitor to the Corvette? And he was like, what? That means they are not paying attention to anything in the market. And I don't know what the fuck's wrong with Maxed Out Lawyer, but he gave me $200. Now, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. See, he is a good example of somebody that blindly listened to what I said. On the Street Alpha podcast, I said, look, if you're going to build an F-150 and you want it to last a long time, you should buy a Gen 2. Now, people were like, you're fucking crazy. 10R80 is God's transmission. And I'm like, yeah, up to about 11 PSI or 12 PSI. And then after that, depending on the vehicle weight, it starts to complain. How many of you have done a wide open throttle pull in your 10R80 only for it to not really know what gear to go into after coming back on the return road or after the next pull? It flares a little bit. It short shifts a little bit. I don't know what it's going to do now. But a 6R80 goes boo, 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 boo every freaking time. Now, maxed out, what's his name actually? Max Anthony, right? He heard me on the Street Alpha podcast, and this is his post on Patreon. And this is him with his Gen 2 F-150. Now, this is on Patreon. This is where you want to go if you want to actually look at all the chats on the left. My chat, conspiracy theories, tech, show us your build, giveaway chats, peasant chats, and peasant chats are for free people. I'm never in there, and Gym Rat chat. But this guy bought a Gen 2 F-150, put some ET Street SS's on it, which looks to be on stock wheels. Little lowered, he put a twin turbo kit on it, return style fuel system. Motor is stock except for oil pump gears and a crank sprocket. Transmission, 100% stock. Torque converter, 100% stock. Look at this rap sheet of a draggy. 10-4, 10-3, 10-2, 10-1, 10-3, 10-2, 10-1, 10-0, 11-2, 10-0, 10-3. Your 10R80 would have died here. Right here, your 10R80 would have died at 20 PSI or 18, whatever PSI this is all street shit, okay? So this guy's trying to go 9s on the street. Stock motor, stock transmission, stock torque converter, Gen 2. Please show me any stock 10R80 motor and transmission with a twin turbo that does this without complaining. Without complaining. Oh, will it complain? It will be an absolute problem. So you need to understand what I'm trying to do here is trying to educate people based on experience. And if you don't believe me, fine, don't watch me. Fuck off. Watch Stang Mode, watch anybody else. But if I say it's based on experience, and if you don't believe me, that's fine. That's your issue, not my issue. But at the end of the day, if I say something, it comes back with a bunch of data. Same thing with Ford stuff. Same thing with the 10R80 and 6R80 stuff. Remember you guys talked shit about the 4R200, 6 speeds are better. You had people telling you if you don't launch in first gear, it's not a real 6R80. All of a sudden, the quickest, fastest 6R80 on the planet has 2 gears. 2 gears. And I just finished installing Collier's transmission yesterday with a billetized 6R80. So that transmission is like good to go for a long time. So yeah, there you go. I'm trying to educate the masses here, and I'm trying to say that you can absolutely criticize your team if they make bad decisions. If they make bad decisions, you can speak up and say, I don't like this. I don't like what's happening, because I don't see myself in a new Ford anything. Every single time I look at new vehicles that Ford puts out there, I am more and more attracted to other vehicles like the E-Ray. The E-Ray would be perfect for me. For the channel, it would serve no purpose. It would serve no purpose. It wouldn't matter. I'm not looking to become the end-all, be-all authority on C8 Corvettes. People know a lot more than I do on the C8 Corvette. But the E-Ray with a Magnuson supercharger at 9 PSI or something with pump gas that makes a total of about 800 to 900 horsepower all wheel, and I can run maybe a 1050 or 1040 or 10.2 on the street. Stop it. That's all I would give a shit about. Let's say I had people there. So do you criticize your team, or do you ride out with them no matter what? Like when the Red Sox traded Nomar Garciaparra, I said, oh my God, that's the biggest mistake ever. Ended up being the best thing they ever did, because they saw him declining, and then they were like, don't worry, trust the plan. And I'm like, I don't like it. Boom, they won the World Series that year. So I was wrong on that one. If you buy GTD as an investment to sell for a profit, just throw that $300,000 in a CD. Nathan Roberts, you and I both know that after $300,000 in a CD, at what percentage and how much can you make after 2 years? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying sell it to me. JD Swag says, good morning. Invite only, damn. 10-speed Edger ESS is about to stomp the GTD. Okay. Jay Walker, CD won't double in value in 2 years. That's a terrible piece of, thank you. I was like, wait a minute. I want to know, like, if you put it in a CD, you can't make 600,000. So yeah, I agree with you, Jay Walker. I was like, that's where I was going. I'm like, wait a minute. How much can you make in 2 years? Because if you play the market right, you could make $500,000 on a GTD after your what were they call it? Non-compete, non-NDA, non-sales agreement, whatever they want to call it. Gen 2 is king. Absolutely. Sarcasm, but the net D50R is going to murder all. Look, if you have a GT350 with a Whipple, a TVS, or a centrifugal at 10 PSI, you're not going to get beat by much. The only thing you might get beat by is by the oil filter slowly unscrewing itself, and then that's the only thing that can beat you. I guarantee the SC will only make 20 more horsepower than the 20 GT500. I guarantee it too. I guarantee the GT500 made what, 760? So even if it makes 800, it's still not Hellcat territory. It's still not Hellcat Red Eye territory. It's still not making 800 horse. Like the Hellcats were making 800 horse years ago. Let me ask Google machine, what year Hellcat made 800 horsepower? And I think it was like 2017. Oh, 2018. That's the Demon. So the super stock Challenger made 807, and then the 19 to 23 Red Eye models equipped with the jailbreak option. These utilize a 6.2 high output supercharged Hemi engine. So Demon, SRT super stock, and the Hellcat Red Eyes are the ones, and then the 170 Demon made 1,025 on the 85 fuel. So the super stock, the jailbreak Hellcat Red Eyes, and the Demons made that almost 8 years ago. Unbelievable. 150,000 miles on my Gen 2 F-150, no problems besides normal wear items. Right. Look, we're talking about longevity. The 6R80's Achilles heel is the Ford Planetary. The Ford Planetary tends to eat shit at 650 rear wheel horsepower on a Gen 2 stock weight car, like 3,700 pounds. So once you start making that torque and slamming it into gears, and that Ford Planet accelerates a little too quickly, the gears fail, the welds fail on the gears, and it explodes, and it takes out all of your transmission. It's literally a grenade inside of your transmission. Cool. That's it. That's the biggest issue with that transmission. If you were to theoretically install a Ford Planet, you can make good power up until, I would say, 800 or 900. Then you're going to have intermediate shaft, forward shaft, billet one way, and then eventually clutch slip. But you're never going to have flaring because the 10R80 was not designed to take big power. I don't care what anybody says. Even Ford, funny thing that Ford installed a 10R80 behind a Raptor R, but obviously they only gave it 10 or 11, 12 pounds of boost. You'll see that thing start to have issues once people start turning it up. It's just a matter of time. It starts flaring, it starts doing dumb shit, and then how much does it cost to rebuild it? So if you rebuild a 6R80 max effort, what is a max effort 6R80 going to get you? If everything's installed properly, if everything is clearanced properly, you race it normally and you drive it normally, it can last you many seasons. Couple of seasons. If you're not really if you think you know how to put transmissions together, I've heard that so many times. Oh, I put transmissions together all the time. This is easy. And then all of a sudden you smoke the gears, you do this, your tuner isn't tuning it properly. That's the biggest issue. Power by the Hour used to not warranty transmissions that weren't tuned by Lund, because every single time they got a transmission tuned by anybody else, it would smoke the clutches. And Jake was like, I got to call these guys because I don't know what's happening. I can't warranty something that looks to be a tune issue because every time I see a transmission that's been tuned by Lund for many years, I don't see any issues with the clutches. Collier's transmission was in for 5 years. Listen up, 5 years. No fancy parts. It just had a 4R200 hub. It had clutches, stock forward shaft, stock intermediate shaft, stock one way. Jake was like, dude, bitch was perfect. This guy raced it for 4 years. Okay, he probably raced 3 or 4 times a year, probably has over 60 runs in it. He goes, it looked fantastic. But he said, Alex, you're gonna probably race it a little more. So I just want to make sure that because you have the parts already, let's just upgrade it to billet stuff. But honestly, when he opened it up, he said, this bitch is perfect. Then when we took Donnie's transmission apart, he's like, transmission's perfect, but the fluid is an ugly color. We start looking at the torque converter. The Circle D2B started having some issues with it, and it started making some noise. So that's why I said, let's take a look at what's going on in here. After a long trip, the Circle D converter looked kind of funky, and it had shit, and it had the metal flaking on where the bearing rubs, where the bearing sits on the outer part of the snout. So Jake's like, yeah, we're going to have to get that looked at. So the transmission was fine. So I think you guys need to realize that the 6R80 is king. when it comes to high horsepower overdrive transmissions. The only other transmission that I compare it against is the 8 HP, the ZF, the Dodge or whatever you want to call it, ZF. Let's call it a ZF. That comes in BMWs, Stellantis vehicles, Durangos, Hellcats. The 8 HP 70 is probably the next transmission. It's probably better than the 6R80, but I don't know enough about it in terms of seeing it in action and tuning it and stuff like that to give it a proper critique. That's why I don't talk about it all that much. Complete stock 6 or 7 years of abuse, said Eddie Vega, NA boosted and still holding strong. Stock 25 wheels, 20-inch, says Maxed Out Lawyer. So he has stock 20 to 25 wheels on his Gen 2. He checked the plugs and it looks good. Everything looks fine. This guy is going to, I sent him a revised tune this morning because when he brake boosts it, when he stalls it up on the stock converter, it hits a weird limiter. So I looked in the tune, and that's the funny thing about tuning. I guarantee I can give the other tuners the same base file I'm using. The difference is in the adjustment. What are you doing to adjust it so that it can perform to its max ability? And a lot of these guys get lucky that the customer only roll races. Because when you roll race, you're not on a sticky surface. The transmission is going to shift if you have the limiter high enough. And generally you shove timing down its throat and leave most of the stuff unaltered from the tune you stole, and it'll run fine. But when the customer pushes it, like Maxed Out Lawyer's doing, you got to start going, okay, now it's the saucy stuff. You got to start looking by experience, scrutinizing the data log, because a lot of these other guys, the tune poachers, they'll look at the data log and they'll just stare down fueling. They'll stare down fuel trims. They'll still stare down AFR, but they don't know what optimal cam timing is for turbo. They don't know what optimal cam timing is for centrifugal or positive displacement or comp cam stage 2, 3, or 1, right? That is the saucy stuff because they just don't have the experience. They'll just say, that works. And then you look at the cam timing. I've looked at tuners' cam timing on 2020 GT500 stuff, and I go, no wonder they're shoving 30 degrees in it. No wonder they're shoving 30 degrees in it. They're not optimizing the cam timing. Am I going to sit here and help them? Fuck no. Because every single time a guy steals a tune or has a forum somewhere that reverses the files, gets given to them, they then send it out, those people try to get adjusted, are not satisfied, then they come to us. And then they go, I fucked up. I bought a tune from these guys. I bought a tuner from these guys. I'm in it for $1,200 and I'm not satisfied. The sycophants and the psychos that just want to troll, they're on Facebook and they're riding out with that horse until they have to actually perform. And then all of a sudden, when they want to perform, they end up at Lund Racing anyway. Mention of the Termi in the Alpha podcast brought me back to high school when that Butte was announced. Car and fanboys treat their loyalty as if they were in a relationship, weak and soft mentality. If the Mustang loses, I don't lose. If the Mustang gets discontinued, I don't lose. A lot of people, when the Camaro, some people get hit in the gut when you tell them the Camaro got discontinued. Tell me what's the best. And I forget the years that they were discontinued. 2010, I think, or before that. Just after the Terminator. Yeah, I think just after the Terminator, the Camaro was discontinued. The Camaro fans get hit in the gut. Then when it came back, it's a little heavier, kind of ugly, didn't perform all that great. But then you got people just building the motor to make 900. Like, this one just really gets me. Building the motor to make 900? Rods and pistons to make 900? Why the hell would I ever choose a platform where the motor has to come out to make that kind of power? Now, truth be told, I understand that the C8 is the same thing. It's got weak pistons, I think. I would never want to make 900 in that thing. If I do, I just buy the ZR1, but fuck all that. I want to make 800 tops. So I would, because it has a front electric motor, all I need is about 9 PSI to make 600 engine, motor horsepower, ICE horsepower. And then the 200 that's supplemented by the motors, there's my 800 and I'm good, stock cam. And maybe an exhaust here and there, but nothing crazy. I'm not looking to make 900 of that thing. Bro, I've had that happen on my GT350, right? The oil filter slowly loosens itself. I have a bond that's making 8%. Oh, good for you. So 8% times for 2 years. If you put $300,000... fuck me. So you make $25,000 a year. So 8%. So 300,000 times 8%. 25,000. I think the GTD is a better buy. The GTD seems to be a better buy. My stock F-150 10R80 flares. My stock 10R80 F-150 did a 10-1 downshift many times. Hey Alex, how's the family? This is Ryan Rodriguez. 10R80 is trying to get the clutch packs to latch, but it's okay. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So you get off of the horse, cross the stream, and peace out the horse. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to stop telling you what sucks in the industry and just let you find out for yourself. I'll let you find out for yourself. I'm done. If you're on Patreon, of course, we're going to have a more in-depth conversation. But for the normies that can see this for free, fuck you. Fuck you. If I see major problems with a product in the ticket system, find out for yourself. Fuck you. Talk to the manufacturer. See what they tell you. The same people that told you could make 800 on pump gas, talk to them. Let's see how you go about remedying your issues by listening to the people that sell products. Go for it. Fuck it. Alex, what do you think? I don't think anything. Buy it. It really sucks. Oh, well, talk to the people you bought it from. Same thing with suspensions, same thing with blowers, same thing with turbos, same thing with everything. Figure it the fuck out on your own, bitch. Because when you try to help a motherfucker, people are like, oh my God, what a fucking idiot. And then they go privately. God damn it, he was on the money. He was on the fucking money. Fuck. I can't believe I doubted the guy. There's that little voice inside your head that you're like, fuck Alex, he's a punk. I'm going to try to take everything he says and decompile it and make fun of it. Oh shit, wait a minute. Look, I came across a couple of guys that had that issue. Oh shit, Alex was right 3 years ago. Ooh. Figure it out. Figure it out your fucking self. I always felt like the jailbreak was a sales tactic, if you know what I mean. Oh no, it was proper marketing. Thoughts if Ford stepped up and made an F-150 version of the Cobra Jet? If a non-street legal, non-VINed truck, yeah, that's amazing. I can't wait to drive that. Hey Alex, catching my first live, says BA0037. I've been enjoying the backlog of content. Thank you, but I don't know if you're trolling. Any idea how much horsepower I have to be making the 10.0, 139 on the street? 140 mile an hour on the street. So, Jesus, probably 900 wheel, right? So, weight of regular cab F-150, 2050 model. So, I want to say 4,500 pounds, right? I would say 4,500 pounds. So let's give you a weight of 4,500 pounds. So let's say Wallace Racing Calculator. And then we're going to talk about racing calculators. ET mile an hour horsepower calculators. Convert ET to today's condition. Who cares about that? DA, these people with the DA. Calculate horsepower correction factor. No, DA. How about oh my God. Horsepower from mile an hour. Horsepower, quarter mile ET from horsepower with correction. These are all too stupid. Convert your stupid mile per hour to horsepower calculator. ET mile per hour horsepower calculator. Holy shit. So 4,500 pounds. 4,500 pounds. Oops, 4,500 pounds. Calculate ET and fuck ET. ET's stupid. Okay. Let's see if this works. So mile per hour, 139 pounds, 4,500. Calculate. This is the worst website. It's just like the biggest piece of shit It's just the biggest piece of shit. This Wallace racing calculator is like ColecoVision dumb shit. So using vehicle weight of 4,500 pounds. Oh, God damn it. It doesn't. This is just, it hurts my eyes. Your horsepower is what? Mile per hour, 139. 139. 4,500 pounds. Calculate. 139. Dipshit. Calculate. 993 according to this stupid fucking calculator. Your horsepower is 993 using vehicle weight of 4,500 pounds and a mile an hour of 139. That's nuts. For a stock Gen 2 motor with 114,000 miles. 114,000 miles. Gen 2 motor, stock Gen 2 transmission, 900 plus horsepower, and he makes run after run after run after run. I'm just like, holy shit. Yeah, you have to run miles per hour. Yeah, no, traps per hour. How many traps per hour? Jared Wells says, I replaced 10R80s at work, new remans from Ford, and they flare up first test drive. And it's like, what do you do then? You have to do a transmission relearn, which is the most convoluted thing I've ever heard. That Ford procedure, translearner. Let me see. 10R80 Ford relearn procedure. Do you want to hear something ridiculous? Let me see. Show more. You could do ForeScan, right? The 10R80 transmission relearn procedure requires clearing the transmission adaptive tables using a scan tool like ForeScan, followed by a specific driving cycle to calibrate the shift points. Procedure involves light throttle acceleration 15% through all 10 gears, followed by a sequence of 6 to 7 repetitions of stopping, shifting to neutral, then reverse, then neutral, then drive with 1 to 2 second pauses. 6R80, put it in, get on the trans brake. I am not a fan of the 10R80. Again, the 10R80 is not a racing transmission, but the problem is the Mexicans, the Beaners, the whatevers, the Edgars, they get it and they go, that's the truth, bro. 10R80 is la luz. And you go, 10R80 is a transmission that was built around fuel mileage, not acceleration and horsepower. Because if it was, it would last more than 3 pulls. It is a transmission that just so happens to accelerate really well, but it was designed around fuel consumption, like best fuel mileage because of government bullshit. To be honest, the most shifts you want, the most gears you want on an automatic is 8. The 6R80 with 373s is fantastic. An 8 HP with, I think, 373s and a second gear leave, fantastic. 10R80, trash. Everywhere. Above 11 PSI, I don't trust the 10R80. Depends if it's a Gen 6 or a Gen 5. Whipple. I'm trying to find a Gen 2, but it's a ton of V6s. They're tough to find. People love to go up hardcore so much that they're fine with spending $6,000 to $8,000 every offseason to rebuild a 10R for racing. They think it's a badge of honor. Go ahead. Go ahead and rebuild your transmission every offseason for $8,000 and making people fucking rich. You have made people filthy rich off of your 10R80 shenanigans. The 10R80 will never be a Billy Badass transmission, in my opinion, just because of the 10R80. And the only way it could be badass is if you eliminate 4 gears from it. Like you launch in 3rd and you top out in 6th. I would see E-Ray content. Yeah, but you'd be the only one. I'm looking at my cars, right? And I'm looking at them as business acquisitions, right? The GT500, all I need to do is run at 460 to 130. The 8-second stuff is not even on my head anymore because how many things am I going to break with a T56 3,800-pound car with a McLeod 1200 RXT HD? I'm going to break axles. I'm going to break studs. I'm going to break probably the transmission. I'm just like, you know what, Alex? Just go 460 to 130 and call it a day. And if you ever want to go drag racing in it, you shove a 400 in it or an auto because it's not worth it for the stick shift game. The only way that car can go 8s consistently is with a black magic clutch or a slipper style device. And I'm just like, that's just not what I want to do with that car. Good morning, Plebe, says Mel Perez. But those tuners are on the recommended list, Alex, so they must know what they're doing. I love the fact that a whole group of people got together just to fuck with, I guess, London, me. But they don't mention me. Like, mention me. Go to war with me. Go to war with me directly. Because that means I have to I got to make you public. Like, if I make you public and people find out who you are publicly, not dox you, find out your name, your government name, right? My name's Alejandro Flores. I want to find out your don't hide behind a company. And then I'm like, oh, you're the guy that stole this file. You're the guy that's been to jail a couple of times. You're the guy that's, owe money on street race shit. You're the guy that, I'm like, that's the team I'm fighting? Boy, that's why I'm just like, you guys are hilarious, bro. The team that is trying to like go against me and I guess Lund is full of degenerate, typical race car guys that do race car shit. And they live on Facebook. They live on Facebook. Facebook is for grandparents to see how their kids are doing and dating. DTD is a better buy, but no insurance required on a bond. It is just a safe place to park some money while the rates get high. If the Mustang goes away, so be it. Remember the Mustang Ford left us. That means free reign to explore, experiment by other cars. Look, when you read this article, it's kind of interesting. It says that the CEO urges humility in changing the automotive industry, calling us for more cooperation with China. This guy, Jim Farley, is just not on. China. I'm cool with their tools. I'm cool with some of their screwdrivers. Maybe some of the clothing, but not my car. Not my car. And you have to make a calculation. Like, am I going to support a company that is in bed with China on the EV stuff hardcore? So hardcore that they had to go to the White House to basically suck Trump's dick to say, don't tariff them hardcore because it's going to affect our bottom line. Well, simple, Ford, decouple from China. Decouple from China. Well, they're going to beat us up. Live by the sword, die by the sword. You want to fuck with China? The current administration was voted in by the most powerful nation's citizens to say, fuck China, tariff high, closed borders. Right? We've proven that nobody can fuck with the U.S. The force doctrine. Nobody can fuck with the U.S. at all. All of Europe cannot fuck with the U.S. China, Russia, and Iran together cannot fuck with like 3 planes that we got. They can say they do. They saber rattle. They got some shit ass stuff. They can't. That nation voted in a guy that said, fuck China. Fuck immigration, illegal immigration. And fuck, outsourcing your goods. And Jim Farley is fighting it. He's actively fighting you. No. We got a couple with China on EV stuff. If not, they're going to eat us up. How about you just make better fucking products, dipshit? How about you make better products? Well, we can't. Why can't you? Because you rely on China's cheap labor so much that you need their batteries, you need their shit. When you decouple from them, yeah, it's going to hurt. Because what happens tomorrow if there's a World War III? And all of a sudden, we need to make military equipment. Do you think Ford's going to step up and go, we got you, sir. We're going to make equipment so we can win the war against China? Or are they going to go, fuck, we really urge you not to go to war because if you go to war with China, we're out of business? Fuck Ford. I don't give a shit. Fuck Ford. If that's how they're moving, fuck them. My work truck, 2021 F-150, 910 already died, need an entire new transmission, never abused, still has original brakes on it. You're talking about Mike H, okay? BYD is pretty badass, though. No, it's not. Look, if you like electric cars, Tesla is the only one that fucking matters, in my opinion. The only one that matters, in my opinion. Sorry. I'm one of those guys that because they're an American company, they make the best electric car. Find another one that's better. Well, okay. If BYD is badass, put a BYD, whatever the fuck, put the best BYD electric car against the best Tesla electric car. And I contend, if both are equal, why not buy the American one? Except for price at the end of the day. Trump been saying fuck China since the 80s. Exactly. Jay Walker says, Jared, as much as I'd hate to say it, get a Century, way easier to launch if hitting nines. Yeah, he's right. Well, yeah, Jay, it's tough. I don't think it's easier to launch a Century. I think it's easier to launch a PD car if you have the proper suspension. So let's say you go to the track and you launch with a TVS car, and the moment you launch, a TVS car is going to hit 10 PSI. A centrifugal car is going to make 10 PSI at, depending on the pulley combo, let's say it has a 10 PSI at 7,500 RPM pulley, like a 3.6 on a Vortec. Then it's going to make 10 PSI at that RPM. So you have to launch it that high. So I think it lends itself to beating the car up more because you have to launch it at a higher RPM, if stick shift, to achieve your goal. But if easy is what you're talking about, yeah, but the better 60 foot's going to come from the PD car if you can figure out the launching, which look at my black car. I'd launch at 5,800 RPMs, and the moment I let go of the clutch, there's 10 PSI. Everything is China, and it's still too expensive. $90,000 Darkhorse, just absurd for what you get. I agree. Embargoes will happen. I hope so. Fuck it. Non-standard response says, Alex, last week, I said, thanks for helping me get into a 21 California special. You said, I didn't recommend a 21, but a 19 to 20 instead. I found my 21 for a good deal in my state, and I mean, thanks for recommending a California special. Yeah. You need to understand, like, if you're gonna buy a Mustang that is less attractive to Edgars, Beaners, and douchebags, you got to get the one that's catered towards the higher end clientele, and that's the California special. It's a little more expensive. It's got different interior. It's got different trim, different grill, different wheels, different badging, different side effects, stuff like that, and different trunk, little faux cap. But that car was catered to old heads, to boomers. That car was catered to the higher end clientele. And that person is not going to beat the ever living shit out of that car. And that stands true for all generation Coyote Mustang. Gen 1 California Special, Gen 2 CS, Gen 3 CS. I don't know anything about the newer models, 24 and up. And honestly, I know enough to know to stay away from them, just like 96 Cobra. Again, guys, sorry, just like 95 and up Mustang. Once Fox Body was over and I saw what Ford was doing with the 94, 95 Mustang, I was done. Got heavier and slower. Big surprise, heavier and slower. And what makes me laugh is that people forget 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, the Gen 3 Mustang was making 1,000 horsepower, stock motor on 20 PSI twin turbo stuff. The Gen 2 was making 1,000 horsepower, 20 PSI. So when I see posts, yo, these things are the truth, man. 24 and up Mustangs are the truth. They make 1,000. So were Gen 2 Mustangs. Look at Maxed Out Lawyer's truck. 20 PSI, 140 on the street. 900 plus horsepower. Gen 2 F-150 low compression. And what did I tell him? Well, I don't want him to blow that motor up. Honestly, this is what I want to happen with Maxed Out Lawyer's Gen 2 F-150. Run the 9. Stop. Take the transmission out. Put the billet stuff in. Take the motor out. Sell the long block. Keep the chains and cams. Or, keep all of the valve train. Matter of fact, keep the heads. I would take the heads, send them out to head games. Send the heads out to head games. Let them do the thing. When they ask you what cams you're going to put in, you're going to put in the stock fucking cams. Maybe you upgrade the chains or tensioners, but generally, keep it all OEM. Cams, VCT, just an FFRE bottom end, Gen 2 F-150, ported heads from head games, stock cams, and you just turn up the boost. That's it. That's all you do. and live a happy life. Well, Tesla's great, but the new American-made BMW iX3 M50 will be pretty badass. I agree. Look, anything German is pretty badass. I'm not going to lie that the engineering on the German side is better. Look, I look at Audi R8s, the V10s, and I don't know if they make them anymore. I think they stopped making them. That is such a desirable car, but the problem is, actually, there's nothing wrong with that car. That car is an alpha, whatever the fuck, kit away from being supremely badass. But the entry price is crazy because the Gen 2 V10 R8 is like 1,300 horsepower capable, just turbos. And I'm like, man, and obviously you got to upgrade the transmission and stuff. And I'm like, do I want to go that route? Again, that would be a car for me. I would never say, hey guys, I'm buying an R8 for the channel. You guys would go, fuck you. And I get it. You guys would rather see a notchback. A notchback with a 408 at 1301 compression. I'd rather have a Gen 2 TVS 6-speed. Me too. Jared Wells, you still have the 297 Magnum, right? You need a 409, so you won't be in fourth gear. Yeah, you need a 409 for sure. Absolutely, you need a 409. I got the full Steeda Vikings in the back. Just need some coilovers in the front. And when I was making 800 with the 2.3, the front end just wanted to dance. The front end wanted to dance? I don't get that. Picked up my 21 CS for $27,000, traded in my daily, and came out almost even trade. I love every CS. LOL. Every CS I've ever seen was driven by some old dudes. And I thought I was the same person with 5 different CSs. That and the iX3 just looks badass. God damn it. Now I got to look at what the fucking iX3 is. iX3. Man, get the fuck out of the fucking SUV. I thought we were talking cars. He's talking mom vehicles. Is a Fairmont lighter than an SN95 roller? Absolutely. The Fairmont is a potato chip. The Fairmont is long. It's a long wheelbase Fox body. And, I wanted a carbureted Coyote. Then I got sick of that because I'm just like, the amount of engineering, not that it's impossible. It's a time thing. The people that I rely on to make stuff happen are not available. They're just too busy. And the people that I trust, aside from the people locally, are too far. So I'm stuck. And I'm like, well, I try to have the channel to keep the channel going is a lot of work, a lot of effort. The main job at Lund Racing keeps me busy 8 hours a day plus. So when do I have time to engineer shit? I don't. Now that I have once the Corvette gets up and running, Donnie's running, great. Collier's running, great. GT500's running, great. Corvette's next. All my attention on the Corvette. Get that running. Get it figured out. That's this year's main thing. Once that guy's running, Donnie's got to get sold. Once I run like an 11.3 or 11.4 one day and get back on the Fairmont and give the Fairmont my full attention after the Corvette's up and running. And the Corvette, I'll be enjoying it, going to Cars and Coffee and shit like that. Like, I'd love to go to Cars and Coffee often with the Corvette. That's what it's made for, to show out. Wow, look, you're stupid. You put a Coyote in it, right, but it runs 460 to 130 3 times in a row. That is the main goal of that car. To run 460 to 130 3 times in a row, turn it way up, maybe run a 360 to 130. I think that'll be cool. I'd have to do some rolling anti-lag stuff. I got to get with Junior on that. I think the car can make 1,000 rear wheel horsepower on 15 PSI with those turbos. So that's going to be the whole thing. Do I have to put VCT back in there? Or is it going to be an issue? Blah, 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 blah. So there's a lot of things that have to happen. But it's a trust thing, really, with the Fairmont. Not a money thing, not a time. It's a time thing and a trust thing. That's all. So that's why if I'm going to put a big block in it, I got to talk to the people that have put big blocks in Fox bodies before. And I don't know anyone that's done that. Google says Fairmont is a little over 200 pounds lighter. I use the 94 Mustang for comparison. Yeah, the Fairmont is way light. It is a potato chip. Notchback S550 swap. The depreciation on Teslas is horrendous, specifically the Plaid. That's what I want it. That's the whole thing. If you can pick up, papi chulo, a 9.4 to 9.2 second car for $50,000, wouldn't you do it? It'll do it back to back to back. It'll get 350 miles range. It's an awesome daily. I would do it in a heartbeat if I needed a daily. But to be honest, the better daily is a Model 3 or a Model Y. You can get more shit to fit in it. The Model S, it's probably too big to be a good daily. I said it was an SUV. Yeah, I don't care about SUVs. I don't care. SUVs to me are, when I see SUV, I'm like V8 full size or nothing. Jared Wells says, I've tossed the idea of putting a 409 and was telling me how it would be better for my setup. Hasn't this show told you it'll be better for your setup for like 10 years? Again, I'm going to stop saying shit. I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to report the news and give you my opinion and say some semi-racist stuff and then just end it. You know, just, okay, the show's over. Alex, what do you think? What do you think about what? But go to Patreon. Right. Exactly. Oh, bro. Exactly. You can use Coyote Fury's setup as a reference if you want to run 9s, Jared Wells. Smoke Ogu Wop says, Alex, do you think Ford should bring back the GTS Mustang instead of the Darkhorse? No, GTS. No. Look, because there's no competition, because there's no Charger, Challenger, actually there is a Charger, but the problem is the Charger is going to be expensive because it's all-wheel drive. It's going to come EV option, which they got rid of already, 6-pack option, twin-turbo Hurricane, a high output version and standard output version. Then they're going to put a 6.2 supercharger in it. And if that's all-wheel drive, the Mustang's fucking cooked. So you're telling me Dodge is going to come out with a ugly, I mean, it's not ugly, but let's say Dodge Charger. Don't know. The concept vehicle looks fantastic. 2026. The concept vehicle I thought looked good. Concept. Images? Where's the concept one that they had on the show? Yeah. This is the SRT EV. Nobody cares. Yeah, this is the concept one that they had before the Banshee, before like they discontinued it. But can I have like a big picture? No, I'm not going to. Fuck you. Yeah, this, let's say, right, in an alternate universe. Oh my God, that's okay. Just show the car. Okay, so let's say in an alternate universe, right, that comes out and it has a 6.2 Hemi supercharged all-wheel drive. Yep, it's going to be $100,000. Welcome to modern muscle cars. Mustangs are so expensive because they don't have competition, and their competition has become the Corvette. So if the Charger Daytona, whatever, comes out with a 6.2 version Hemi all-wheel drive that looks like that in Minecraft, exactly, it's going to be very heavy. But will it be quicker than the Mustang? Abso-freaking-lutely. All-wheel drive. 5,000 pounds. Hellcat. Cause I'm trifling. 40 Glock in my nightstand.
Cause I'm trifling. 40 Glock in my nightstand.
Roll up his backwood. That car is gonna run 10.2 at 135. And then when it hits the brakes, they're gonna cook. But it's gonna beat the Mustangs. Alex, what do you think? The standard response should be, what do you care? You don't listen. That's what I should say. Who cares? What do you want this blower? Who gives a fuck? Figure it out. Buy it and figure it out on your own. But I've seen what? You trust what? You trust my opinion based on data and my experience? Nah, that goes on Patreon. This, you get hoodies, you get giveaways, you get entertainment, you get a badge next to your name when you become a member. But when it comes to free information that everyone else can consume based on my experience and data and opinion, that's on Patreon. That's on Patreon. Wonder how often people race my 18 PP1 E85 long tube header A10 converter, 5 years with 100 passes, year. Wonder if I should retire the car or keep on racing. I don't know. What the fuck do you want to do? I don't know. Figure it out. Report the news. Say something racist. Hit the Diddy clip and call it a day. The bar is a Latino of the car community. Shut the fuck up. No more YouTube lives, just Patreon lives where you pay for dumb questions. No. There's good money here. I still slightly edge out Patreon on YouTube. I slightly edge it out. But Patreon is like, so when it comes to like my monthly pay, it's Lund Racing and Patreon and YouTube are like tied for second. And Patreon being like slightly distanced third. Let's just say like, a couple $100 third. And I'm like, and the sponsors are fourth. So I have 4 revenue streams basically. GTS was a stripped down GT. Haven't heard of the GTS since 95 days. Right, exactly. They said they're looking forward. So now they named their top performance attainable vehicle the Darkhorse SC. So you think they're going to bring that? They might bring back a Boss. They might bring back, like, who's really crying? The pushrod guy. The guy that thought they were going to put a Godzilla motor or a baby Godzilla motor in a Mustang is probably crying his eyes out right now. I can't believe that they have such a gold mine sitting there with a 7.3, put a Tremec behind it. So what? So the lifters can collapse after 10,000 miles? Dad and Platt says, seeing the new Chargers in person, they are a wide body and an all-wheel drive Hellcat motor away from being badass. When the Dodge Daytona Charger thing comes out, again, growing pains. The Mustang went through the growing pains of overhead cam stuff in the mid-90s. So they were getting fucking slutted out. Everyone was slutting out a Mustang. They were looking for 96 GTs. They were looking for 94, 95 GTs. Well, 94, 95, you could still do pushrod shit, so it had some leftover. It had some carryover from pushrod stuff, like Fox body stuff. So some of the old heads were like, oh, it's just a new body, and the computer's stupid, but we can still make it fast. So they throw an S-trim, a Pro Charger, a Kenny Bell, whatever on it, put some heads, put a stroker, and it could still run a number. But the moment 96 came out, oh, shit. Oh, shit. Now we gotta make this overhead cam junk fast. And fast was 300 horsepower. And you were like, holy, then you were a blower, 400, all the rods are shit. Come to find out, on the 2-valve, your Coyote push rods away from making good power. But let's just not get off kilter here. They went through all those growing pains. Then the Terminator came out and you're like, oh, this is possible. The Mach 1, oh, this is possible. Then 05 GT, and then the 07 GT500, oh, a grown-up version of a Terminator motor. Oh, this is possible. Kenny Bells, TVSs, Whipples on that. Oh, these make big power. But they needed to go through the growing pains of the mid-90s to get where they are now with Coyote and Coyote variants, with Predator, Voodoo, stuff like that. Now Dodge has taken the leap of faith of saying, all-wheel drive. Yeah, we tried the electric version. Nobody wanted it. We discontinued it before it even hit the streets. Fuck it. But the 6-pack with tuning is going to be pretty good. And you're going to see this summer these 6-packs from shops. Because look, shops have to stay relevant. So shops have to get on new platforms. The Mustangs is the Mustang. The same bobo-ass shops are dealing with Mustangs. So forget that. So now the other shops are going to go, why don't we look at this 6-pack situation? Because the Hurricane high output sounds like shit, but it's stout. Straight 6, twin turbo. Why not? Turn it up and see what it can do. Add some port injection. Add an auxiliary fuel system. Full E85. Oh my God, the drivetrain is holding up. Holy shit, we've gone 10s. Holy shit, we've gone 9s. Let's gut it. Holy shit, we've gone mid-9s. Right? So then the Hellcat variant comes out in 3 years. Hellcat variant comes out. It's ready. That shit's ready. It makes 800 horse. It's $100,000. Yep, we get it. Cool. All-wheel drive V8 supercharged. All-wheel drive V8 supercharged. You don't think it's worth going through the growing pains now to end up having an all-wheel drive V8 supercharged car in the wild? If you don't think so, then whatever. Look at what BMW has done. BMW has gone out of their way to they had beautiful cars that didn't perform, and all of a sudden this motor and drivetrain option has taken over everything to the point where guys change their name from Coyote Mike to B58 Mike. Stop it. Fuck, what happened? The live chat did not go through. Copy link, live chat. The computer freezes, and then I have to like redo this. Do you think Jake will help you pin the BCM of the 01? Nope, he's too busy. I got to rely on somebody else to do that. He's too busy. I can barely get him here to help me route the drain lines for the turbo stuff. I got to get Donnie. And it's 30 degrees outside. I'm like, Donnie, another day. I'm not going to sit outside in 30 degrees routing lines. Fuck that. But yeah, no, it's at the point where I'm just like, it's all me. And I have a solid 7 hours or 6 hours a week to dedicate to working on the cars. It's just, if I keep that pace, I'll never get shit done. So I got to farm it out. I got to talk to people. I got to contract people to come in and do stuff. And no one's really looking. Again, I'm busy. That's the problem. If I didn't have the YouTube channel, I'd have all fucking day. If I didn't have my main job, I'd have all fucking day. Like, I'm blown away where people are like, well, I taught myself how to weld, and it took me, I dedicated 30 hours a week to it. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't have 30 hours a week to do anything. Kenny Bell Bonfire. That's funny. Ford needs Mustang twin turbo EcoBoost with all-wheel drive. I said that, but everyone thought it was gay. I said that. I said 3.5 EcoBoost, all-wheel drive, twin turbo, hybrid. Everyone thought I was gay. I'm like, okay, cool. Darkhorse SC is what you're getting. Stock G1, Gen 1, 75 millimeter, 2.3 drop to a 72 or a 50 shot. Damn, Eddie Vega. If you do a 72 millimeter, if you have the bigger elbow, if you have a 120 millimeter cold air, if you have 1,000 cc, and if you have a E85 or pump gas, 75 millimeter. So I'm thinking you have E85. 72 millimeter is going to be close to blow up territory. 750 or so wheel. So take that for what if you can afford another motor, sure. We have to accept that new cars will never be light again. So make the leap to all-wheel drive. Use the weight for traction. That's a great point. Accept and understand you will never see a sub 3,500 pound performance Ford ever again. V8. Accept it. Sub 3,500 pound V8 performance Ford from the factory will never happen again. And if it does, how much is a Ford GT? How much does a Ford GT weigh? I can't spell today. 3,000 pounds. With fluids, it's close. Oh, no. New GT. New Ford GT. That's the old one. Yeah, 3,300 to 3,400 pounds. This is a dry weight of approximately 3,000 pounds. When fully equipped with fluids, wet weight, it weighs around 3,300 pounds. Supercar features a carbon fiber structure and a 3.5 liter EcoBoost V6 engine. So Ford can offer you a 3,500 pound full carbon fiber Ford GT for $500,000. 3,500 pound and under Ford V8s affordable to the general public is not a thing ever again. I said that earlier in the chat. I don't know what you said. If they actually did the V8, then yeah, Dodge would take over the scene. I just don't think they will. They're being really stubborn for no reason with it. What are you talking about? They're talking about putting a V8 in it. And then watch the Charger be able to disconnect from the axle and do burnouts and sideshows. Exactly. Just like, wait, I don't know. I don't know this. I don't know if you could do the same thing with a BMW. What's the reason you did not go oilless turbos on the 01? Because they're not as good? You want oil lubrication if you want, in my opinion, longevity, best performance. Yeah, all day. 30 hours to learn how to weld? What the fuck is Turvey doing? Exactly. Ryan, help me in 10 minutes. Yeah, no. To learn how to weld, you have to do it a lot. It's a lot of repetition. And then you got to do different metals, different materials, different machines, different types of welding. No, thank you. Welding is not just one thing. Welding is like 50 things. And then you get people, then welding is like fucking gun shit and politics. You do it wrong no matter what. What is it makes all these new cars so heavy? The technology, non-standard response. It's the safety. The safety. The government mandates crash tests, and the crash tests have to be conducted in such a way from the weirdest angles. So you have to do like this side impact, you have to do this 3/4 impact, and you have to do rollover tests. So the passenger has to survive all of that. Well, unfortunately, the byproduct of survivability is a heavier car. That's it. I remember you saying that all-wheel drive Mustang, and I'm about the V8 Mustangs, and I thought that was a killer idea too. Yeah, what are you gonna do? I have some good ideas. I do have the option to buy my old blower back for $4,000. I would just need a 69mm pulley again, says the dude sold it. You can't find a 69mm pulley. The 05 was well above $3,000. Yeah, it was at $3,300 also, according to Google. When I left my Gen 3 RX-7, really had to get used to the weight of the S550. Jay Walker says, my G90 M5 made 980 wheel with just a tune. Too bad it was heavy as balls. Basics, still, I'm not good. Gotcha. Unless you can weld. There we go. See what I mean? See what I mean? You guys are like, oh, yeah, he taught me how to weld in 10 minutes. I'm like, no, he didn't. I hate welding. I hate people that weld. I hate the idea that, you know, if you can weld, you're better than everyone else. It's just fucking stupid. And then a robot can fuck you up. A robot can go, here you go, better welds than you. Oh yeah, they can't do it on the field. Yes, they can. They have this device that can now weld pipe, like on the field. You get the pipe fitter to cut it. Hell, don't ever let a robot cut that. It'll be the best thing ever. And then they just clamp. All you need is a human to supervise the machine. It's pretty crazy. Cars are heavier due to safety standards. Wiring, manufacturers just making cars larger. If I die, I die. I want under 3,000 badass sports cars. The Gen 1 is the closest we'll get to 3,500 pound car with some performance. If I'm not mistaken, the Gen 1 GT spec came from 3,600. That's why I have 3 Gen 3. Gen 1s. 3 Gen 1s. They all subsequently got heavier over time. The Gen 1 is the Gen 1 Coyote Mustang. Because there are some fucking retards that think when I say Gen 1, I'm talking about 60s Mustangs. Like, I heard somebody reference 11 to 14 F-150s as Gen 12. I just need to leave that whole conversation. Gen 1 Coyote Mustangs, 11 to 14, in my opinion, is the best straight line car you can get. It's a good motor away from being badass. Most already come with a 6R80. Most actually all have a solid axle. Some come with 331s. Some come with 373s. Some come with 315s. It's like perfectly configurable for any type of racing that you want to do. F-Cam still sounds like the Silver Surfer. I think he must have said that fucking around. Blame the NTSB for heavy cars. Would, at a certain point, the weight become a safety concern in itself? Yes. If the vehicle's weigh enough, couldn't that lead to more injuries, fatalities, leading to more crash testing? Not just that, non-standard response. Think about the infrastructure of garages. Let's say you have multi-level garages. And let's say there is a weight limit per level for multi-level concrete garages. And let's say you park 50 Cybertrucks at the top floor. People are going to go, that's not what it was designed for. Like that structure was not designed to support that much weight that high up. And, you know, Gen 12, where do I get a Gen 12 badge? Bro, someone said, how come Lund doesn't fuck with the Gen 12 F-150s anymore? I'm like, the what? Yeah, but it's the welding experience. Fuck those robots. Yeah, okay. Like, robots can't learn. Again, you have an iPhone or a phone, right? Just start saying, I would really love grand pianos. Grand pianos are going to be fantastic. Grand piano. I would love a grand piano. Grand pianos are great. Grand pianos are awesome. Grand pianos are fantastic. And then 2 seconds later, you have grand pianos coming up as suggested listings on your bullshit. My Gen 1 manual with a Paxton 2200 SL with a drag pack 6 piston Brembos weighs 3,500 pounds. My S550 3189 with still retaining AC, but it's not comfortable. I like the Gen 2 front end over the Gen 1. Me too. I like the solid rear axle over the fucking $1,500 to $2,000 axles you got to buy on a Gen 2. The random question, but what do you think of the new C6 Z06? What do you think about the C6 Z06? Just do NA weekend bullshit? Ah, man. Okay. So obviously the C6 Z06 is the most popular C6 because it's the most performance for the money. The ZR1 is gone for most people. The C6 ZR1 is like unobtainium because a under 10,000 mile ZR1 is like $85,000 to $90,000. Now, that's one of those vehicles that's super interesting. You can get a tastefully modded C6 ZR1, Kong 2650, 103, his Ram Air, a cam, fuel system, and Corsas with a monster clutch. Monster? No, the other one. The badass one. I forget. The quad disc shit. For like 85. But that same vehicle with 10,000 miles bone stock is like 95. So you're like, do I risk buying a modded ZR1? And again, no loans are, I mean, you can get a loan, but it's going to be 15% from like PenFed Credit Union or something like that. So you're like, oh, fuck. So yeah, I think the C6 is the most attainable C6 bang for the buck. That's why it's the most popular. Wide body, good brakes, dry sump, 7-liter. If it has the revised set of cylinder heads to get rid of the weak link, a good cam in it, you can make 600 wheel NA. It's a 7-liter, of course. So yeah, it's an awesome vehicle. But you know, eventually, what's going to happen? A 700 rear wheel horsepower C6 NA Z06 is going to get walked by a centrifugal 10 or 11 psi Mustang. So you know, you're going to have that itch of like, I have a 3,300 pound car here, makes all this power NA, and it still gets walked by a pump gas Whipple, Vortec, Paxton, Magnuson 10R car or truck. So if you just want it for tooling around and chopping and doing whatever, cool. But the problem is, like, people expect it to be like blazing fast. Whoa, Z06, oh, that fucking... And then you get in it and you're like, oh, I got beat by a boosted Mustang. It ain't that impressive anymore. So then you're going to have to fight that stigma. The other stigma with the ZR1 is this. You're either a 4-second 60 to 130 car or stuck. So how do you want to live your life? Because I was stuck in medium power. I was stuck in 700 wheel, 550, 60 to 130. So I can get beat by a decently modded Coyote. And I sound badass. It sounds exotic. It sounded like it was the most ridiculous thing on the planet, but it wasn't that fast. So I fought that stigma. Like, whoa, would you have a modded ZR1 and it's not running 4s? What's wrong with you, peasant? I'm like, yep, that's true. So that's why I went, let's just go to a turbo and kill that stigma forever. New to turbo V6 Nissan Armada weighs 9,000 pounds. Think about that. Welding robots have no presence. That's very good. Don't hate on turbo because you can weld and you don't want to, Theo. I get it. This is why a lot of parking garages have specified EV parking lower floors, even without chargers there. I agree. It's straight axle swapping, a Gen 2 thing. No, not yet, because it requires a decent amount of fabrication. It's a Gen 2 thing for racers. The Gen 2 Mustang has become a very popular racing chassis. Racing, X275, LDR, Pro 275. You know, it's become a very popular because it's everywhere. And you can get them cheap, and they look great, and they're aerodynamic as fuck. Just like the C7 was becoming a very popular chassis to race with. So straight axle swapping is a thing on race combos. But most guys roll race. Most guys live under slower than 8 seconds in the quarter mile. You could do that with IRS, no problem. Theo, Friday night you mentioned that you would not add a power adder to a 15 to 17 350. Is that much of a pain in the ass? I do it on an 18 and up. I do it on an 18 to 20, just not a 15 to 16 to 17 or whatever, 15 to 17. I would do it on an 18 and up, not a 17 or 16. J Walker being based for once. Most C606 builds are duds, by the way. I agree. I got a friend of mine that has one. It's pretty quick. It's almost impossible to find a manual Grand Sport. You would have to be okay with an auto, which I don't want. Same. I don't want an auto. I don't know that their market looks like today. I had a C6 Grand Sport manual with a Vortec, and it was fun. To dad. Jay Walker, they're in the mid to 30 range, but they don't come up for sale often. Yeah, so A Grand Sport is basically, is it what, LS3 version of the, but it's dry sump? Is it LS3? There's a Grand Sport. Oh, is it LS3 or is it something else? I don't know what it's called. But if I was to build a Corvette, it would probably be a Grand Sport because it has the wide body. It looks the same as a Z06 visually. And you could do cool stuff with it for cheap. But I wouldn't build a Z06, C6 Z06 because I don't know. You have to like start from scratch. Honestly, you either go Z or 1 or nothing. Because the motor is stout. You're a ported blower. But again, ported blower, pump gas. The most you're going to make is 700 something. With race gas, you're 85, 800. And then you're doing auxiliary fuel. I do not recommend building a C6 ZR1 unless you're going to go all the way. You either keep that bitch stock or all the way. I don't think there's something in the middle. Yeah, LS3. Okay, so yeah. If a Grand Sport is an LS3 with dry sump, finding a manual is going to be tough. They're mostly auto because they're like the stunt version. Like the Grand Sport C7 I thought was really cool. Looked like a Z06, but it wasn't. Yeah, Smash or Devour. The reason I would not build a Gen 1 motor GT350 is because of the oil consumption issues and the 18 and up, or 19 to 20, I think. He's either 19 to 20 or 18 to 20. Just had a better motor. LS3 with Z06 suspension. Yep, dry sump LS3, best C6 to build. Nah. Grand Sport is LS3 with dry sump, wide body, and decent suspension. Alex, you've said before the C801 is the best dual overhead cam engine right now. Do you think we'll ever see a time where the C801 engine swaps will be popular more than Coyotes now? The price. Coyote engines were like so fucking expensive back in the day, and that's what really killed it. If the Z06 engine and the ZR1 engine in what, 10 years, right? We're talking 2036, start bleeding down, and you start seeing it on SEMA builds and stuff like that with a control pack that GM maybe offers. I mean, how can you argue against it? Look, I'm a Ford guy. I love Ford, but how can you argue against a 1,000 horsepower, 5.5 liter dual overhead cam, flat plane crank, twin turbo engine? Ford has nothing. What does Ford have to compete against that? The GTD with a fucking 2650? Love the blower, but I've always said that all you need is a 2650 because it has the best power delivery. And if you want to make more power, go right to turbo. You don't like, let me buy a 3-liter Whipple. It's fucking retarded. You just go right to turbo. Why are you going to have Whipple problems if you've gone all the way to, and let's say you already have a Whipple, 3-liter, and it's making 950. You're like, well, let me upgrade to the 3.8. You are a fucking retard. Just go to turbo. If the goal is to make more power. Cafe caused vehicles to get larger and heavier. I got it. Grand Sport was my original idea, but manuals are hard to find. You're going to pay like 35 to 40 for a fucking Grand Sport. Cup holder is still 200 degrees in any C6. I agree. Everyone should watch the 18 plus RCSB F-150s. You get something that's 10 to 12 PSI away from a 10. You can drive anywhere comfortably plus hook on the street. What the fuck are you talking about? No. What the fuck are you talking about? Don't listen to this guy. 10 to 12. Have you driven an RCSB? 10s? So what happens after 12 PSI? 10 R80 problems. Hell, what happened with me stock? 10 R80 problems. The 24 and up seemingly has a better transmission and transmission control. But at 18 to 20, bro, you can't pay me enough to buy that shit. Jake has one. He never races it. Just drives it around. And I'm like, what a waste of a 1,000 horsepower truck. Wait, I thought 1 pound of boost would completely destroy the flat plane crank according to Ford engineers. Yeah, I remember that. Talk to a Ford engineer. That's why I think Ford engineers know. Imagine you're a Ford engineer and you said, let's just see what happens when you boost a 12-to-1 compression flat plane crank 5.2. Oh my God. What happened? Did the crank fly off of it? No, it made 900 horsepower. Say what? Yeah, we put race gas in it. 12-to-1 compression. 10 PSI. It made 900 horsepower. 900 horsepower. Yep. Fuck. That means we can't upsell them anything. We can't upsell them a 2020 GT500. We can't upsell them a GTD. We can't upsell them anything. If you can make that much power on a high compression Voodoo. Shut up. Hey, if anyone asks you, if anyone comes up to you at SEMA and asks you if you've boosted a GT350 motor, lie to them. Tell them the crank flew into orbit. Okay. Then I go up to an engineer. Hi, how you doing? Good. Already have seen an 880 rear wheel horsepower GT350 make power on E85 and 10 PSI. I said, so what would happen if I boosted a GT350? Oh, Jesus, you don't want to do that. Well, how come? Yeah, we've seen cranks just fly off the bitch. Guys, can you put your hands up if you've seen many cranks fly off the bitch at 11 PSI, which is all you need to make damn near 900 horsepower on a GT350. Zero. Now we got guys building them, slightly lowering the compression, God knows why, and shoving 20 PSI in them, making well over 1,000. And I'm like, there you go. Oh, dude, there are still people that don't understand what I was saying. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to try to explain it. You don't get it. You don't get it. You don't get it. And that's okay. That's okay. If you think I'm wrong on that, stand on it. Stand on it. One day, you're going to experience something, and you're going to remember what I said and go, he was right on the money. That's okay. I've been around the compressor game long enough to know when to shut up because people don't have the chops to keep up with what you're talking about. They just don't. They're Subaru technicians. Boy, you fucking did Subaru shit. You did Subaru shit. You were a roofer. You're this. And then somehow you got into tuning. Get the fuck out of here. 21 and up F-150s have wet belts for oil pumps, though, and they're fine. And there have been no issues with them. Driving an RCSB, if you want a Ford Ranger, just say that exactly. Speaking of the other channel, Theo, you going live there too today? I'm going to try to go live tonight. Something happened over the week on the dating channel that was show worthy. I think we could talk about it. Pockets extra sloppy. Go 2 hours, Alex? Oh, gosh, I'm still going. Holy shit. Pro Chargers, that's about it. All these 800 horsepower Whipple GTs kind of make these Darkhorse, Super Snake, etc. cars pointless. Yeah, exactly. Any 10 or 11 PSI GT350 makes big power. Maybe the clutch, damn sure, but not the crank. Pro Charger. Are we talking cranks now? Oh, he said Pro Charger, supercharged GT350s snap cranks. That's pretty funny. But it makes more, yeah, dude, less input RPM. Look, I got a bridge to sell you if you believe that bullshit. It smells so good. Can't stand on it if my boss don't let me, Alex. Look, when you are around industrial equipment, Alex is going to talk about industrial shit again. Yeah, stupid. Do yourselves a favor. Go to if you can get a tour at your local power plant, please do so. If you can get a tour at a nuclear facility, please do so. If you can get a tour at anything industrial, please do so. Go in there and watch that there are 15 different style of pumps, air, fluid, diaphragm style, centrifugal, rotor, and twin vortices in one facility. And all of those guys get tested every year on theory, application, and maintenance. Do you? Do you? No? You don't get tested on theory, maintenance, and application on reciprocating equipment. If you don't, shut the fuck up when it comes to compressors. Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to get out of here. And motor stuff is industrial stuff. Exactly, but whatever. I'm out of here. I'll be back probably tonight on the dating channel. Tonight, dating channel, we'll probably hang out for a little bit. It's cold out. I ain't doing shit. It's fucking 35 or 36 outside, which is the coldest has been in Florida since I've been here. So yeah, I'm going to just chill out, watch TV. Got to go to the gym. Still got to go to the gym, get it in. And then just kind of chill out. I'm not going to be outside on the cars. It's too cold to work on shit. I'm good. I'm going to take a day off. Yesterday, I put in Collier's transmission. Did very good. I'll probably edit some video. I'll probably get, motivated to make certain videos that I've been wanting to make for a little while, where I just stand in front and, talk about stuff. Those videos do way better than me just going out and doing 60 to 130 stuff. And we could talk about a lot of, certain subject matters like Mustang sales while they're going down, but that's like a lot of editing that has to happen. But if I get bored enough, I might just make a video out of it and post it up during the week sometime. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys on the dating channel tonight. And the rest of you cuck fans, I'll see on Tuesday because, the haters love watching me the most. I'll see you guys on Tuesday so you can try to nitpick apart another argument that you have no education about and I ridiculously outrank you on. Have a good of your Sunday. I'll see you guys on Tuesday and the rest of you on tonight.